Live. Sorry, I was completely distracted. I was like looking over different things and then it went live. So, hi everyone. How are y'all doing? It is I, Mallory, and you are on Lunch with Mal. And we're lunching. So, hope you're having a fabulous day. I know I am. It's the end of Jill's Kickstarter that wrapped up today, and I'm on the jazz about it. She did amazing. Um, first Kickstarter she's ever run herself for one of her books. Um, New pen name, well, a new pen name, sorry, a new genre for that pen name, like cozy fantasy, whereas everything before was YA and YA horror. Uh, so yeah, she did a little bit over 25,000, um, which I'm really stoked about for her. She absolutely crushed it, and 25,000 US, 36,000 Canadian. Since we live in Canada, that matters. Hey Barbara, how are you doing? Nice to have you here. So now, like, Jill did amazing, and for those of you who don't know, of course, Jill's my wife, on her Kickstarter for Dungeons and Donuts, and I have one coming up in April, and now I'm like, what if I don't do well? Which is funny because that's what she was worried about before she did hers. She was worried about not doing as well as my previous Kickstarters, and now I'm like, well, now I've actually never done quite as well as she has. Now, maybe we'll just leapfrog each other, and that'll be great. Oh, nice, Monique. What were you filming today? So yeah, that's. But what I'm telling myself is like, this is not a way for you to. It's like I'm looking for some reason mentally. I'm like looking for the potential to feel bad, and then of course protect myself. How do I protect myself from feeling bad? And that's like the wrong mindset, right? Worrying about like not doing as well as Jill, and then wanting to say like, well, start making up excuses for why I might not do as well as Jill. It's like a terrible mindset. It's going to keep me back, not let me go forward. I need to think about like, how do I like ride the wave of awesome that Jill started and do well with my Kickstarter too? And that's like, obviously we all encounter that sort of issue, right? Sometimes I'm just surprised how it sneaks up on me. So yeah, that's kind of where my brain's been a bit this morning. When he said she filmed 2 videos, 5 shorts, and 2 signature series shorts. Sorry, 3 signature series shorts. That is a lot of filming. Wow. Barbara says I do that too. I make excuses for why I'll fail. So hard to change that mindset, but absolutely worth figuring out. I agree, because what I don't want to be thinking about failure. I want to be thinking about success. I want to like point myself in the direction of success and not be facing over here thinking about failure. Sorry, it's like zooming in and out a bunch on me. I'm sorry about that. This is a camera I've not used before for streaming. It's not a very good camera either. I'm in our new office, and this space is not well set up right now. It's kind of chaos, as you can see by like random computers and monitor arms and stuff like that, like shelves stacked with components and everything. It's gonna look great eventually. We're also setting up. We have 3 different rooms that we're setting up. One of them is like Jill's office / where Jill films, and you might have seen her post about that. It's like this beautiful, chic, white and pink and gray room. And then we're making what we're calling the library, which is going to have shelves and books, and it's going to be like sort of warm and comforting with greens and browns. And then this is my office where all my computer stuff lives. So we have like different places we can film in here, which is pretty cool. It's a nice little place we got. Hey, honey, nice to see you. Awesome compounds awesome, Monique said, and I completely agree with that. Right? Like, don't think of it as a subtracting thing. It's a thing that like breeds and builds, and I want more of it. I don't know if I'm super wise, Barbara, but I'm doing my best. I'm actually really excited about my Kickstarter. It's I just got some new art from the artist working on book covers, and I'm really excited about it. And it's kind of, the books are going to have 2 book covers. I'm working on how to do that, but they're going to have like this book cover that's going to look like they're like a black market shipping crate from a sci-fi universe, and so it's going to like have a crate number on it and all sorts of stuff like that. And then you'll open up the book. Let's open up that cover, and will be the second cover that's actually the book cover. So it's going to be really fun. It's going to be like a totally different way of doing things. And then I'm thinking about like all of the writing I have to do, and I'm like, it's already February 5th, and I've got this crazy idea of doing like 5 or 6 books this year. So I mean, I've already written in January. I did 40,000 words, and that was the first time I've done that in a long time. And then a co-authored book's going to come out in March. We just have to go through edits this February, and then I have 2 books I plan on getting out in May timeframe, and then my next big release will be in August, and then there's lots more to do toward the end of the year. So yeah, I'm like on the jazz. I'm feeling so good about it, and that's why like I titled this like gearing up for an epic 2026, because things are a little squishy, a little uncertain in the world right now, and it's so often I keep thinking to myself like, is this the year to like stage a big comeback? Is this a year to go big? Because uncertainty. But like that's the wrong mindset. That's the same thing as like worrying that my Kickstarter won't be as big as Jill's and then not giving it my all. Like I need to give it my all regardless, because otherwise, I mean, if things are squishy and then I phone it in, that's going to be even worse. Like I need to give it my all. I need to do my best. I need to like plan for good things, and keep myself pointed towards success so that I'll reach success. If I start out like compounding negativity and reasons why things might not work, I might as well just not do it. And that's not what I want. I want to do it. I want to get back into writing more, to get more books out, to enjoy writing. And I'm doing that right now. I'm really enjoying writing. I'm enjoying working with my co-authors. I'm enjoying reading what they're writing. It's just like, it's so much fun right now. I'm having a blast. So Eric says, I did like 50K words in January. My tendons still hurt. Yeah, I was actually typing the other day and my hands were hurting. I'm like, I need to get back in this year because it's been a stretch. Man, this camera just refuses to focus properly. I apologize for that, folks. Hopefully it's not like nauseating or anything like that, as it's like popping in and out. I'll try not to bring my hands up too much. Every time I bring my hands up, that's when the camera's like, hey, let me focus on your hand instead. Jill makes me like, you know what? Yes, Jill is so wise. Jill's the one who knows the things. It's always the year to go big. You know what? I want to make that like my freaking slogan. It's always the right time to swing for the fences. Right? Like, when would you not? Why would you not want to go big and have good things happen? So yeah. I feel like that's my entire spiel for today. Like, I'm going for it. I'm going big. Multiple Kickstarters. I'm doing stuff to build up my my fandom more and get like I've had a subscription section on my website for years, and I've sort of let it atrophy. So I want to do stuff with that. I'm finally closing down my Patreon and shifting everything over to my own website that I control. I tell you, I've got people who have been backing me for like decent amounts of money for years. There's some people that have like backed me to the tune of like $1,000, $1,600 on Kickstarter, just by like, or not Kickstarter, on Patreon, just by like $10 a month, and they just like left it rolling. It's pretty awesome. I'm bringing them all up on my website, and everybody's been on Patreon, which I've like not posted anything new since like 2021. I'm giving them a free year on my website with all the new stuff, and I'm actually writing a story just for them. So just patrons will get it. To say thank you to them for sticking with me for so long. It's gonna be a good year. Got a lot of really fun stuff happening. I'm curious if anybody else has fun things you've planned, ways to give back to your readers to help like build up like a sense of camaraderie with your readership. I'm committed, as I mentioned before, this year to really do a lot of more direct interactions with readers, Kickstarters, direct sales, member section, stuff like that, and get away from using the retailers. Like we talked about last week, about building like a ring, like different rings where our sites promote each other's sites. Was that? Shoot, that was on Lunch with Mal. Yeah, that was a Lunch with Mal I talked about that with. I was just trying to remember if it was there or somewhere else. So yeah, that's my mantra this year. This is the year of, like Jill said, go big. I know Monica's going big with all the re-releasing that you're doing, recording all these videos and everything like that. Jill's going big, right? She's already planning her next Kickstarter. She hasn't said that to me, but I know she is. Because she this morning when we were laying in bed and her Kickstarter was like wrapping up, Jill was like, I don't know what to do now that I'm not like running my Kickstarter and like promoting it and adding new content and talking about it to people and stuff like that. I'm thinking Kickstarter number 2 is coming right around the corner. It's not that far away at all. Have you written book 2 yet, honey? I know you've plotted it out. You've been telling me a bunch about what's going on, but I'm curious if you actually started writing it or not. I wouldn't be surprised if Jill does like 2 or 3 Kickstarters this year. I'd be kind of shocked. Although, the logistics of shipping are about to start hitting us. Luckily, we have these offices now because our house is not big, and we could not really do shipping out of our house without killing ourselves. Also, we are right next to the post office, like out our front door, like 30 steps down the sidewalk, post office. So it'll be easy to get a lot of things shipped. Monique says, I just created 6 books for one nonfiction series, working on another for a different series, adding spiral bound journals. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, 6 box sets. What? That's intense. Wow. That's a lot of content. Way to go. I mean, you've been working like crazy, so more power to you for that. That's awesome. I think Jill's making banana bread off and on, so she might. I've been waiting for her to comment whether or not she's actually writing the next book or not. But I think it's because she's making banana bread. We ordered like, as part of like a DoorDash delivery of food, Jill put in like 3 bananas or something like that. And we got 3 bunches of bananas. So we're like, oh, that's a lot of bananas. So banana bread is happening right now. So I'm suspecting that's where Jill is. But yeah, so I've got a lot of writing to do. Like I said, I'm really excited about that. One of the problems I have with my current book is that so I wrote this one book that had like 16 POVs in it or something like that, thinking that I was going to manage to be able to do this for an entire series. And I've talked about before how this is my second attempt doing that, and both times I've realized you can do it for a first book as you open up all the threads, but you actually can't like give 16 POVs any sort of meaningful part of a book 2 when there's not like the intrigue of all these new threads being opened, where you have to give people like some sort of meaningful progression and then like some sort of like meaningful even like sub climax or something like that in book 2 when you have that many. It's just ridiculously hard. So I'm breaking apart this book and I was going to break into just one other book, but now I realize I need to do 2 other books, and I'm struggling right now. Like, do I take the content from that one mega book, and do I just sort of like splice it out and make a new book 1 that's just that plot, but with the same stuff in it, or do I just sort of say like, hey, read this book that only like 30K out of 150K applies to, what I'm going to have you go on to continue reading, or do I like make a new release? I created such a problem for myself thinking I could write a series where every book's 150K and there's 16 POVs. Like, no, don't do crazy shit like Mal does. It's bad juju, I tell you. I don't think the banana bread's gonna have nuts, Monique. I'm not a big nut. I don't like hard things in soft food myself. Jill might, so she might make some for herself that has nuts. I'm not actually sure what her plan is there. But one of the things, actually, this is kind of cool. I'm going to share this with you guys. I made a cover, like just a temporary cover for my readers that just had black. Like there was no, it was just the text. And just the cover behind it was all black. Because I'm like, I don't actually have cover art for this yet. But this is what I'm thinking about for a title. It wasn't for all my readers. It was just in Discord. And they're like, that looks so badass. I want a book with just a black cover like that. Which is really interesting, because I recently got a book at a bookstore because it was actually just white on black with like a little bit of line art. And I bought it because I thought it looked really gorgeous. I didn't even read the back of the book before. I was like, yeah, I'm buying this because the cover is just so pretty. And it had no picture at all. And so what I ended up doing was I put together this as the cover for the book. And my readers love it. They think it's amazing. I'm just using art I already had of this character, and I put a black mask over top of her, and then gave a white outline, and then just put this sort of like this white starburst behind it, and my readers are like, this looks amazing. What they actually want is they want the main black background to be matte, and then the character to be glossy black. So matte black, white, and then glossy black. I'm like, I don't even know if that's possible to combine white and glossy on the same cover. But I'm like, well, this cover just cost me $0 because it's art I already had, and I did the typography for it. So just boom, just like cover. So yeah, that's I'm pretty stoked about that. I'll just leave it up there for a minute or two. But it's really another part of this is interesting too, because I've been saying for a while that I want to try and do this for science fiction covers, what we've been seeing in fantasy, and in things like paranormal romance and stuff like that, like the object covers. Science fiction doesn't really have them yet. Like we were at the bookstore on Sunday, and the fantasy section, there's like this big table full of gorgeous fantasy books with sprayed edges and stuff like that. Nothing for science fiction. There were a couple of pretty cool sci-fi books, but none of them were like doing sprayed edges and all the other gorgeous stuff, and they weren't being like sort of set aside as being these beautiful books. I'm like, I want to make beautiful, gorgeous science fiction books. So that's kind of my plan right now, is to make these things that are kind of more artistic. I have to decide too how much I'm going to do. You guys can't see it too well because it's kind of like off the screen all strangely. But it's like a really long series name. It's called Dark Nebulae Convergence, and there's another one called Dark Nebulae Neon Nights that I'm also doing. And I'm trying to see if I actually want to do like that super long series name, because I feel like it's adding too much it's just adding too much typography to the cover. So I'll see how that plays out. But it's gonna be a great year. My biggest problem is like I have so much content to release and that I'm writing. Like, how am I going to figure out how to do it all? And I also have to build a deck and renovate a basement. So there's a few other things I have to do. Man, my hands! I can't help but talk with my hands and make the camera focus in and out. I apologize for that, folks. Something I did want to mention, by the way, as well. This is regarding Facebook ads. I forgot to bring it up last week because we had so much fun talking about the idea of like, a ring of stores, all the interconnected author stores where we promote each other's stores and sort of create a mega store, but still run our own stores and not have to no one has to create like a retailer, because that was amazing. I'm sure everybody who was there probably remembers that. But I forgot to mention that January 26th, so I think that was last Monday, Facebook shut off any ads that were still using the old targeting. So back in June, I think it was June 26th, if memory serves, Facebook said hey, all of these targets, and for us, they were mostly author targets that they removed. So they removed 90 to 95% of all of the author targets. And they're like, hey, these are going away. You should update your audiences to use the new audiences. And if you tried to make a new ad, just like that day, nope, new ads cannot use these old targets anymore. So you could have some old ads still running that were using all those author targets, but new ads couldn't. And also those old author targets for a lot of cases diminished in functionality. They didn't work that well, within a couple of months. But if you did still have any ads that were running well and were using those old author targets that have been since removed, or even things like cozy fantasy, cozy mystery was removed as a target. Any ads running using that as a target, those all would have shut off last Monday. So and Facebook didn't send out emails about it. Because I had one client who a lot of her ads were still using that, and she and I kind of both forgot. She was the one running her ads. She just did just check-ins once a month, and 90% of her ads got shut off, and there was no emails or anything like that. And she's like, "What happened to all my page reads?" And sure enough, there it was. Hey, husband, 3 books to format with Vellum. There you go, Winnie. That's some work. Get your work cut out for you there. I was doing some interesting testing, by the way, speaking of book formatting. So I format all my books in Word. And one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to see if I could create some automated checks to check for certain things I don't like doing in my books. I want to make sure I don't use imperial system. Everything should be metric. And there are certain phrases I don't want to use. I just automatically want to replace with other phrases. They're modern colloquialisms that sometimes I still write, even though I shouldn't. And I want to make sure I use other colloquialisms I've come up with. And so I had Claude do that. I gave Claude a bunch of instructions, and then Claude wrote Python code that would go through my books and do it. And the wild thing is, I can upload a Word book into Claude, say run the editing scripts to do all the replacements and everything like that, which I could do manually, but like, why not have Claude do it? And then resave the Word document. And Claude did it and didn't screw up my formatting. Because I just upload Word documents. I don't use Vellum or anything like that. I was like blown away. I'm like, this is so cool. So bit by bit, I'm starting to use AI for a couple of little tasks like that I've never used it for before, and it's been kind of nice actually. I still don't like running my AI on the big corporations machines. So that now that we've got our office here, I'm actually going to set up my computers here, and I'm actually going to start doing all this AI stuff on my own machines and cooling it with air and not drinking water and stuff like that. So, I brought that up. Oh yeah, just thinking about formatting. I was just blown away that it was actually able to edit a Word document and then not screw up my format. I went through and like double checked. I like checked every single thing. I'm like, this looks too good. How could this possibly be what the AI did? So yeah, it was really shocking. Eric says, I've got to divide my spare time between illustrating a comic and editing a cyberpunk book. That's actually a lot. Illustrating a comic is probably going to take you a while, I'm guessing, right? Are you doing a Kickstarter for it? Like, what are you doing with the comic? Is it something you're going to sell on your site? I am deeply curious. Doing a graphic novel and or a comic is something that's high on my list to do very soon. It's just a matter of like dealing with the expense of the thing. Like, it's a lot of money up front to do that. Even to get like some sample stuff drawn up for a Kickstarter is not easy. So it's been on my mind, but it's actually been on. I've been thinking about doing it since pandemic, but it's just always sort of fallen to the wayside as being like a hard thing to do. So Eric says, I'm going to put this up. Eric says, I'm doing a Kickstarter. We need to focus on the portion of the 40-page pilot chapter that we featured in the trailer. 40-page pilot chapter for the comic? I am confused exactly what that means. Or is it like a reader magnet people can download and then the comic follows after? Yeah, I bet. That's like, are you coloring it right now, or are you just illustrating? Are you just doing like the black and white first, and then you'll color it later, or have someone else color it? I'm curious. That was one of the first things I learned, is that you got to storyboard it, then you've got to get a black and white illustration done, and then generally speaking, the people who do black and white don't actually do, like, just draw out all the lines. They don't actually do the coloring, so you get someone else to do the coloring. Some people will do both, but you have to find someone that you like that can do both if you were to do that. So yeah. Oh, cool. That's right. Inks and paints. That's how they think. It's inking the comic is the black and white, and then painting it is the coloring. That was, whenever I said like doing the black and white, I'm like, this is wrong. There's a word for it. I don't remember what it is. Cyberpunk battle manga. That is, you go to the store. There's a bookstore these days, and the manga section is bigger than fantasy, and it's bigger than science fiction. It's the shit. And that's not even the art. That's just the light novels, they call them. They're the biggest fiction section there, other than maybe general fiction. But when it comes to genre fiction, it's manga. It's all light novels, and it's all yaoi and yuri. At least that's what it seems like based on what our daughter buys. Yaoi is MM, and yuri is FF, if I remember correctly. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, unfortunately, it won't let you attach pictures, Eric. You should DM it to me on Facebook, and I'll pop it up, because I'm actually really curious what you got going on. That's a lot to be doing, though. Hey, Dennis, how you doing? How's it going? But that's been like an idea in my head. Oh, you already sent it. Perfect. Let me download this, and I'll put it on screen. That's a thing I've really wanted to do. I'm like, I need to do something getting into this whole manga vibe, because it's the future. It's what the kids are reading, And I want the youths to be reading my books. Got to get them youths in. Got my cousin Vinny moment here. So let's see if can I zoom this? Oh, wait, that's the wrong thing. Let me not do it that way. That was actually just sharing. There we go. This will be better. That was actually just sharing the, no, bad. So many things I have to click. Here we go. Now it'll be big enough to see and not blurry. It's very green. It feels so Batman and Joker with all the green and the purple, which I guess actually fits the cyberpunk vibe, of course, too. That's really good. I like that. Super cool. Actually, I thought your lettering was pretty good. I mean, it's a little bit hard to tell on here because it's going to be a little bit pixelated just coming through. Also, this monitor it's a massive monitor meant for gaming. It doesn't actually do text super crisp. So it's always kind of hard to tell if that's the case, but that's really cool. Well done. Maybe when the time comes for me to do my Rika stuff, I might reach out to you. It's a very different art style than you did for that book cover that you showed me before, the horror book cover. So I was curious how when you said cyberpunk manga, I was like, well, that's very different. Super cool. Oh, you said 4 pages. So you did. Let me see if I can find it all. Sorry, everybody else is like, wow, Mel. As I'm like sitting here nerding out over this stuff. But like, I won't show them all. I'll just show this one other one because I think it's cool to see very different coloring on this one that you've done. I think it's pretty neat. Ooh. That's the right one. Yeah, that's cool. Strange little alien bug people. I might have to reach out to you and see what your prices look like later on. I won't, obviously not right now, but I might be interested. My readers are dying for my my Rika series to be illustrated. It's kind of cyberpunky. It's all mechs and stuff like that. So I kind of actually feel like your style may not be too bad for that. Okay, anyway. First page is page 27 from the character view. So you're doing 40 illustrated pages as like the initial sort of sample? It's like as long as what some people deliver for their Kickstarter. It's pretty intense, if I understood you correctly. Yeah, they do take. I have 3D renderings and like 3D models for some of my mechs, so that can really help. It Dennis says, I just started my Kickstarter for my Cozy Fantasy series. I love coming up with creative tiers. One was name a place or object in the future book. Cost of the mind. Yep, you got it. That's like a no-brainer, right? I've actually created a tier for mine so that if you do get any naming in, you're going to be like listed as a canon contributor for the story. And then one person is actually going to get to work with me on crafting a novella, and they're going to get the name canon creator. They're going to get that special attribution, and like listed as a co-author or something like that. So I'm pretty stoked about that. But I think it's going to be, that one takes more work than just letting them name something, obviously. But it's also like a $900 Kickstarter tier. Jill said she's doing late pledges. Oh yeah. How did you figure out, honey, how the late pledges work? Like how long you run it for? Because this morning we're like, we don't know how the late pledge system works because we've never done it before. Eric says, want to kickstart all of volume 1, 7 chapters. So is each chapter 40 pages long? 40 full color comic pages long? I need you to say that just because like that's like insane. Just FYI, that's insane. Oh, okay. So you just push a button to late pledges. That's cool. That's kind of neat too, right? Like your Kickstarter doesn't have to be over. You can keep it going, well, for longer, which I think is actually super cool. I'm going to quickly grab one of my book covers to show what my mechs look like. That's comics, right? Also supporting authors who do this sort of thing is awesome. Save. Sorry, just bring something up. Oh, well, 11 by isn't 11 by 17 for Americans? Isn't it like the unfolded paper? Yeah, it would be. Yeah, of course it would be, because it's 8.5 by 11 as a regular US paper size. Anyway, so it's still a lot. Yeah, I'm impressed, Eric. That's a ton of work that you're doing. It sounds like I was gonna say like we should all like hire Eric to do this stuff, but then none of us would get anything because Eric would just be like frantically trying to do comic art for other people, and of course you should be doing comic art for yourself. Um, but nevertheless, that's pretty cool. This is what my mechs look like. So that's Rika, and I have 3D models for her gun, and actually even for like a lot of the components of her armor and everything. And then when I had the artist do this, the artist 3D rendered the whole thing and then painted over it all so it didn't look like just like flat CGI. So I got like, I got multiple full models of actually different sets of her armor that she wears. So it's pretty cool. Eric says I'd just be in my dungeon all the time. But you'd actually like that, wouldn't you? You'd like to be in your dungeon. I know you would. So that's really cool. I love all the the Kickstarter planning everybody's doing. I'm super into Kickstarter. I just love the fact that it um, just enables us to do things we would never be able to do otherwise, right? With like this platform. Yes, your wife would probably miss you. I know that's like Jill did that with me back in 2018 when she sort of created that bubble around me so that I could write 1,000 books in a year. Okay, it was 44 books, but yeah, it was. You can do it for a short fixed period of time, but after a while, you're just like, nope, this is awful. I don't want to have to do this anymore. Yeah, like Jill says, I'm sure people got some stuff going on, right? Anything else anyone wants to talk about, or plans you have, or questions you have about anything? We want to talk about my desperate desire to have a comic book for my Rika series, and the amazing work that Eric's doing this entire time. I haven't, like I mentioned before, I am still be working on that ring. I've been sort of floating the idea with a few technical people, talking about how it can be done. So that, like, for all of us who might have our own direct stores and whatnot, there can actually be a thing like, hey, next fantasy store, next science fiction store, that sort of thing. So I think it could be super cool to do. Yeah, actually, I'm curious what people's experience with TikTok has been over the last week or so. I'm not a big TikTok user, so I don't know if it's sort of stabilized, if it's still a shit show, what's going on with that. Oh, cool. That's great, Derek. Dennis doing Kickstarter, so chill. That'd be awesome. Mangaka in Japan have super regimented schedules. They never get breaks. Yeah, I bet they don't. Poor folks. At least as indies, we get to do things on our own schedule. Although I'm given a chance, I will overwork myself. So Jill's always got to be like on me to make sure I don't. Although with her Kickstarter, it's been the other way around a little bit. Jill's been the one that's been a little bit like workaholic-y. And I've been like, hey, let's chill. So it was an interesting change of pace for the two of us. But who has a book coming out in the next couple of months? There's like 15, 20 of us here right now. So someone's gonna have a book coming out in the next couple of months. I'm curious. I know there's another author was telling me about using TikTok in the EU. You mean like usually using the EU version of TikTok? Yeah, that's something that I'm curious about. People are going to start doing, just downloading TikTok from out, setting their store on their phone to be outside of the US region, and then getting TikTok set up there so you have the non-US version of TikTok. I'm curious people will be doing that. But yeah, Monique, I know you do. So what's next for you? Are you done releasing the fic? No, you still have like 2 or 3 more of the fiction books to come out, right? Before you roll fully into the nonfiction. Eric said, I'm terrible at taking breaks for 12 days in a row with a few breaks most of the time last year. That's a lot. Barbara has something next month. What do you have coming out next month, Barbara? What kind of book is that for the group? Eric is working Neo Rackham Book 2 edited and publishing that next couple of months. Nice. And this is book 6 of the series. It's about a political satire about penguins and greedy real estate agents. Is that referencing anything by any chance, Dennis? Just out of curiosity. This actually does sound pretty interesting. What's the series like? What genres that series fit into? Are they all really connected in a way, or are they kind of? I'm just sort of curious what thread you have running through a 6-book series. If that's book 6, that intrigues me. But yeah, for me, it'll be like I said, it'll be book 11 in my Sentience Wars series. Will be coming out in March. First book in that series in like 5 years, and the readers are pretty stoked for it. And then there'll be one more series to wrap up, one more book to wrap up that series. It'll wrap up at 12 books, which is going to be pretty sweet actually to get that many books out. Oh, Barbara, you're Sylvia. Sylvie. Okay. Sorry, not Sylvia. Now I've made the connection. I can see your face in my head now. That's cool. Submissives of the Rawhide Ranch. I love titles like that. Like in what other world can you just do stuff like that? That's amazing. It's so awesome. Only 8 more rewrites to upload. 2 nonfiction. I thought you were further along in the fiction rewrites. Wow, you've got a lot more to go. Maybe I was like thinking of the ones you've already done then, because you must have it was 12 altogether, right? I should remember we've talked about this enough times. Sounds awesome, Dennis. By the way, young humorous fantasy. Oh, so this is the main series with a young witch and a cat familiar. Everybody needs a cat familiar, or like in my science fiction series. Oh, Jill co-writes a bunch with me, and she introduced a cat, and he's not cozy. This is Jill, who wants to write about sweet and loving things, and she invents it and never swears. At least back then she didn't. She's learned how to swear in the meantime, but she's got a cat that whenever the cat talks in the book, it's all caps, and the cat calls everyone asshole. And that's my sweet loving wife that came up with that character. So, and he's like one of the most favorite characters in all of the books. Everybody loves Mr. Fizzlepop. He's also kind of murderous. He's like Chopper, the droid from the Rebels Star Wars series. If Chopper was a cat, basically that's Mr. Fizzlepop. Jill says, "Look at this. I can't help it if the cat swears." You wrote the cat, honey. You think Mr. Fizzlepop is cozy? He like murders people. He's got a body count, and not from sexual conquests. Man, Monique, do you know how not to be crazy busy? I'm impressed. You crush it on and on. I edit for Midwest Grandma. The cat swears in my head, but not on page. I like that. That's perfect. Yeah, the cat is protecting his ship, which is not his ship, but he's very certain it's his ship. That makes sense. Liking to travel is a good reason to work hard. I mean, yeah, right. Like that's kind of what it is. You work hard to get successful, so you can have money to do the things, and then you want to keep doing the things, so you keep working hard. I know that all too well. That's sort of, I've been a little bit all over the place today. I had this plan for like a super cohesive talk, and I kind of just like meandered. I think it's because I said all my important stuff right at the beginning about like making it always be the year to go hard, right? Like it's always the year to give it your all. As best you can, whatever your situation is, like if you've got stuff going on with your family or like, you do what you can do, but like do it as if it's going to be your best year ever, every year. And going to make it so much better, like pointing yourself in the direction of success. Does he say that? I good fizzy? He doesn't talk very well. He's not a very smart cat. He's just a regular middle of the road cat who can also talk. It's sci-fi, so they uplifted him to make it so he has the parts of his brain to do human speech, but they didn't enhance him in any other way, which is awesome. It's true. I have not yet read book 2. You are correct, honey. Which I have to do because we're running a Kickstarter for that series as well. It's the year of getting shit done. Yeah. His head isn't big enough to grow up's brain enough. To grow his brain enough. I'm guessing that's what you must have meant by that. Or maybe you're just channeling the way he speaks. Yeah, there was a bunch of cats they experimented on to actually make them into thieves. And he was sort of the failed experiment. Poor Mr. Fizzlepop. Jill's like, Jill has this whole cat hierarchy between all these different cats, and how Mr. Fizzlepop is like the one that everybody makes fun of, but he's the favorite. That's how it goes, right? You got cats. They're going to form a hierarchy. They're going to be snarky with each other. It's just the way it is. But I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. But so I'm going to wrap it up here. But it has been fabulous talking with everybody. I love the fact that so many of us have some big publishing plans this year. Lots of stuff coming out. And if you're not publishing a ton of books this year, you're kind of like, you know what, I'm working on one title for this year. That's great too. And just keep yourself pointed in a direction of success. Be like, this is going to be the best launch. I'm going to do some cool things for this launch. I'm going to promote it in a new and interesting way, or I'm just going to write the best book that I can for my readers and make them and myself happy. I think despite the fact that this year feels unhinged, we still want to do the best we can and not like hold ourselves back because we're afraid that it's not like the best situation. We do the best we can, and that's going to make the best situation that we can possibly have. This is my wife, everybody. I'm Jeff Ramley. Let's see how it is. Oh, that'll be interesting to hear about. But I have to run, so I'll have to hear about it another time, Barbara. A new pen name is always interesting. I swear, everybody I know, by the way, just one last thing. Everybody's like, all the romance authors I know are like, I need to start writing MM. And they're all just watching Heated Rivalry over and over and over again. I told this one author, she's like, I don't know how many times I've watched Heated Rivalry. Because she just keeps doing it. She's read the book, she's listened to the audiobooks, everything. So yeah, she's also working on possibly a new pen name. She's not sure yet how she's going to publish it. So it's going to be a fun year. I'm looking forward to it. All right, everybody, have yourselves a wonderful week and a great weekend. I will see you all next week. And I hope it's warm and lovely wherever you are. Ciao.